Hey everyone, and welcome to another video and another Eufy unboxing. And today we have a little bit of an exclusive for you. So this is a product that isn't out yet. This is me getting it early so then I can actually do an unboxing, do the setup and get it tested in time for the embargo, which is when you guys will actually be seeing this. So the product we have today is the EufyCam S330, or as it's going to be known, the EufyCam 3. When Eufy actually reached out and told me a little bit of the details about this, they did say that everybody that's had any of the previous EufyCams, be it the original, the EufyCam 2, the 2C, they're going to be very excited for this update. I wasn't expecting quite this big of an update. The one kind of downside for me personally is the fact that this unfortunately does lose HomeKit support, and the reason for that is because HomeKit is still limited to 1080p, whereas this is now a 4K Ultra HD setup, and each camera also comes with built-in solar panels. So effectively this is all year round battery life with the addition of having built-in solar panels to save you having to actually take these down and charge them. Now, as you'll see from the packaging, we do have a new home base as well, so it'll be interesting to take a look at that, see if that has any other features built into it. You can see from the image itself, each camera has built-in LEDs, and it also has the solar panel just there as well. These also have an upgraded sort of bionic mind, they're calling it, the AI system, which will help it to actually maintain that battery life by only detecting when it actually needs to and only recording when it actually needs to. So taking a quick look at the packaging, so this is traditional Eufy anchor kind of packaging, so you get some details in terms of the various types of detection that actually comes under that bionic mind. So you have human recognition, you have the security report, which is this new layout in the app itself, you have vehicle detection, you can obviously do live view as well as recording history, instant notifications and two-way audio. Just at the bottom you do have the various different platforms it's available on, as well as the fact that it works with both Alexa as well as Google Assistant. On the back you do have a little bit more details, obviously going into the fact that this is now 4K, which is a first for Eufy. They have had the 2K Pro line previous to this, but this is a big step up, going from 2K all the way to 4K. At the bottom you do have some details in terms of all the various different bits and bobs that you get inside there. And finally, just on this side, this is something that obviously Eufy are quite big on, and that is the fact that all your data is stored locally. It's a lot more secure, there's no hidden monthly costs. Once you've purchased this, that's it, that's all you need to worry about paying. Okay, so slightly different packaging for it this time. Normally there's just a thin sleeve that actually comes off when you're actually unboxing it. On this occasion you do have a solid lid, so we'll pop that to the side. So straight away you're presented with the home base. The home base is a lot chunkier, and just taking a look on the back there, you can see that the ports are also very different as well. Now these, if I read correctly, will be USB-C connections. Yep. So you do have the USB-C connection on the back, so these are now USB-C charging. The camera itself is actually not that much bigger than the existing EufyCam 2s. So from the images, I was almost expecting this to be quite large. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. In terms of weight, I don't think they weigh that much more either. So the fact that these now have the built-in solar panel, that's quite a bit of a bonus. I do like the little accent of the blue color on the front there. I'm not sure if it has any actual function at this point, but it does look cool, and it just gives it a fresh kind of modern look to it. You do have various sensors, LEDs on the front, as well as your built-in LED spotlights just there, and then you have some LED indicator lights just there to tell you when it's charging, recording, etc. And then at the bottom you do have your motion detection zone, so that is where your IR blasters will actually work through. On the back, as I mentioned, you do have the USB-C charging as well as a 1/4 inch thread for the mount. Another small little touch that I do actually quite like is the fact that there is actually a slight ridge to this outer casing. Now the previous EufyCams didn't really suffer from glare too much, but I think this will just go to actually add that tiny little bit of shade, and I don't know whether it was actually in their thinking when they designed this, but I can imagine that if this is angled down just that much, it is actually adding some shade, because obviously these with the solar panel do need to be mounted in a location where you do have good sunlight beaming down onto it. So you do have some instructions just on the top there, and on the inside, once you actually take this top lid off, this is the big change. So you now have expandable storage. So what you can do is actually add in a hard drive, and you'll be able to get a lot more storage from your home base if you choose to do so. On the back, you do have two USB ports, one of them being 3.0 by the looks of it. You also get the Ethernet port just there as well. The new look of the home base does look a lot more modern. It looks a lot cleaner. The older ones do tend to age over time, and the actual casing does look quite yellow. So this is a nice fresh new look that you're actually getting. The top section, I believe, is magnetized. Yep, so that won't fall off. Right, let's take a look at what else we get in the pack. Okay, so the mounts that you get are slightly different. So these are more similar to the S330 range, the previous solar panel cameras, and it has a very similar mount system to that. So you can actually connect this on there, and then you can mount this afterwards, and what that does is it does give you a bit more range, if you like. And if you were to mount this in other locations where you're mounting it upwards, it does actually make it so then you can get a better sort of almost a 90-degree angle, whereas the shallower mounts don't actually allow you to do that because the camera itself ends up bottoming out. So once again, you do get two of those. You get the manuals, you get the positioning cards as always. So this is just with a sticker that you stick on wherever you want to actually mount it, and you get the quick start guide just there. Also in the box you get a power adapter, and as is the way, you get both types of connectors or adapters, if you like, so then you can use this with whichever system you need to. Okay, so the other things that you get in the box is you get some screws for the hard drive as well as the pin. You do get some mounting fixings for the cameras, and you get two sets of those, so then you can actually mount both independently, and it looks like you get one spare fixing in each because each of these only have two fixings. And finally, you get a Ethernet cable, so you can connect this directly to your router as well. Okay, so that's the unboxing done. What we'll do now is get it set up in the app, get some sample footage so that you can see the difference between the 1080p, the 2K, and now the 4K cameras. Okay, so here we are set up in the app. Now, at the time of recording this, obviously the software and everything hasn't been updated yet. So in order for me to add the home base, I did actually have to add this as a normal home base, so just a home base 2. But as soon as you actually add it on the system itself, it does actually recognize that this is home base 3, and it will actually give you this new and sort of improved layout for the actual screen. Eufy did also send out a 1TB hard drive to me to actually include for the testing as well. Now, this won't be included in any retail packs. This was purely just for the actual testing itself. And as you can see, once installed, we do have the storage available. And obviously with this being 4K video, if you do use this in very high traffic areas, then you are going to have quite a bit of footage. So I would recommend getting some sort of an external hard drive. It does also make it a lot easier when it comes to transferring data and stuff. If you want to literally just take the hard drive out and connect that up to a laptop or computer. But on the back, it does also have some USB ports that you can also use for transfer of data as well. Just coming into the settings, you can see you have your audio settings for the home base itself, and you can choose what type of tone you want it to give off as well. Sharing the device is how you would add it for family members. You go into that, you select their ID, and then you enable the access for them. So that is the actual home base itself. You do have the video archive if you did want to offload data as well, and this is where it would also show you if you had any external USB drives connected where you could easily just record to it and then transfer over. Coming into the actual driveway camera itself, so firstly we will just play the live feed. So that is how quickly it actually loads. As you can see, it did load up in 4K. This doesn't connect to HomeKit, so you can max it out. Coming into the settings, as you can see, this is basically what I have at the moment. Now, from the point I actually installed this, I think I've only had maybe a couple of days of decent weather. So coming into the power manager, as you can see, it's been installed for 12 days at this point. There's been 780 detected events. So that's obviously a very high traffic area, and 239 recorded events. That's basically where it's filtering out most of those detections and saving your battery. If you come down to the bottom, and we just switch it over to 30 days. As you can see, this is the sort of battery trend which is pretty much expected where I've got this installed. It's not getting entirely covered by direct sunlight, and in the UK at this time of the year we don't really get very good weather anyway. Coming down, as you can see, this is the sort of charge rate. So as you can see, it's very rare that we've been getting a decent amount of sunshine recently, and obviously that's going to affect this. If you are in warmer climates, then I don't think that's going to be an issue. You'll probably be seeing upwards of 200 milliamps per day, milliamp hours I should say, so that should actually keep it topped up. As you can see, my current daily change is -4% each day, but that's obviously down to the climate of where I am, and also slightly where I've actually got this positioned as well. So at the bottom it does give you a little solar charging efficiency, so it's generated 956 milliamp hours over that period of, what was it, 12 days, a total charging time of 4.8 days. So out of the 12 days, it's only actually received 4.8 days worth of charge. So as you can see, it's not ideal conditions, but unfortunately that's what we have in the UK. Coming to the back garden camera, so this was also installed at the same time, but as you can see from the charge rate on this one, this is in a much better position. So as you can see, it's maintaining 100%. The detected events is probably about third, quarter of what it had previously, and it's filtered it down to just 57 events. Both of these have been set exactly the same, so both of them are set on optimal battery, but as you can see, it's just performing a lot better. And as you can see, it's maintained 100% charge for the simple reason that the back garden camera actually gets direct sunlight that is south facing, whereas obviously the driveway camera is northeast kind of facing. So it's not ideal, the driveway camera, but obviously it's still maintaining somewhat of a charge. As you can see from here, there's a big difference between the back garden and the front drive camera. So this has generated 1195 milliamp hours, and it's had a total charging time of 5.2 days. The amount that is gathered in that same period has been a lot greater. As you can see from the last couple of days, it has dropped down significantly, and that's to be expected in the UK. Just coming back to some of the other settings, so a lot of these are very similar. I've not actually got anti-theft detection, things like that enabled for some of the cameras, just because I was still moving them about. Your video settings, you can go in and obviously change all of these, whether you want the streaming to be 4K or more stable, so you can actually change this to auto or something and just have it stream a bit easier. And then you also have your night vision functionality, where you can either have black and white or colored. Now both of these, because of where they're located, I can actually make use of colored night vision, and that benefits me a lot more because obviously there are other lights in that vicinity. So if something did approach the camera, more than likely all of those other lights would light up, and that would mean that you can actually see what you're lighting up essentially. The rest of these are very similar to a lot of the other Eufy cameras, so I won't delve too deep into these just now. If you do have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. Okay, so let's take a look at some sample footage. So first up is the 1080p versus the 4K. So you can see quite a big difference between these two. One thing I have noticed on the 1080p versions is that they are a wide angle lens. Now that we switch over to the 2K, you'll notice this is a much tighter lens. So the 4K is actually slightly wider than the 2K. Angle on this particular camera was slightly different. And finally, we're switching over to the back garden cameras, and this is where you can see the biggest difference between what the 1080p does and the 4K. So for me, this is a big improvement and something that I'm very happy with. There's also one other benefit, and that is that screen captures within the app are a lot clearer, and you can actually see people's faces when you actually take a look at them. Okay, so that was the unboxing, first look and review of the brand new EufyCam 3. If you do have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. As always, I will have links in the description below. If you are looking to purchase, then please do use those. There will be affiliate links, but as always, they won't cost you anything extra. I will have follow-up videos coming on this whole setup, as well as my other Eufy products. So if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I'd really appreciate if you also give this video a thumbs up. And until the next one, thanks very much for watching.